Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Google Pixel 8a and compare it against the Samsung Galaxy A55 and see which particular phone is a better one for you. Now, both these phones are slightly different, as you can see, but there's a lot of similarities here, and they're both like budget phones that you can buy this particular year. So let's go and see which one's a better one for you. If you have any other thoughts, or if you want to pick up one of these particular devices, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside, the Samsung Galaxy A55 that came out a little bit earlier this year, on the front of it has a massive 6.6-inch Super AMOLED display. It's 120Hz, and it's a good-looking phone. I definitely do think it's a very good-looking device. I think these types of panels Samsung does pretty well. The viewing angles aren't like amazing. It's 1080p, and it only gets 1000 nits of brightness, which just is not as good as the Pixel 8a's, but it's still a good looking phone nonetheless. You're still maintaining a micro SD card slot inside of this phone, which is nice, so you do have expandable storage, hole punch display, a little bit of bezel around it, but it's still a good looking phone nonetheless. The Google Pixel 8a, on the other hand, I almost dropped it, on the front of this particular phone has a 6.1-inch OLED display. So it's a significantly smaller panel than the Galaxy 55, which could be an advantage or disadvantage for some people. You're still getting a 120Hz on this phone too, and it is giving you a 2000 nits of brightness panel, which I actually like a lot. This panel I would say is overall better than the Galaxy A55's. The viewing angle I think is better, and just everything that you'd probably expect from this phone is probably going to be a better experience on the Google Pixel 8a than the Galaxy A55 when it comes down to the panel. But I do like the Galaxy A55 for being a bigger panel, but I definitely do think the Pixel 8a looks better when it comes down to it. Now, in terms of the rest of the body, this is kind of interesting because there's a lot of overlap here for sure. So with the sides of both these, you can see that they're a little bit different. The Galaxy A55 is basically giving you this like complete flat side on it, which I actually like a lot. With the Google Pixel 8a, it's going to be giving you this a little bit curved side, which is kind of nice. You have you can see how much bigger the Galaxy A55 is too. On the top, not much going on except for the SIM cards right here. SIM cards right here. USB Type-C ports on the bottom, which is amazing. On the back side, I guess you're getting a glass back on the Galaxy 55. With the Pixel 8a, you're getting this frosted plastic back. Now, which one do I think is better? I genuinely don't know. I think glass bags normally are the better ones, but the Pixel 8a for giving me this frosted plastic back, it feels a little bit different. I don't know if it feels better, but it does feel different, and for some people it might be better. Like, I have no idea which way to go about this, but it's kind of a nice thing you have going on both phones. A big thing to keep in mind, as far as I can tell from the spec sheet I'm looking at, there is wireless charging on the Pixel 8a, but there's no wireless charging on the Galaxy 55, which is kind of interesting. Not too sure why they would do that. Dual camera setup on the Pixel 8a, triple camera setup on the Galaxy 55. And overall on the exterior, there's definitely lots of cool stuff going on for both these phones. And I don't know if there's one I like more than the other one. I like the design language of the Pixel 8a, but the Galaxy 55 is also a very, very good looking phone as well. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. Now, one of the issues I kind of have with Samsung, at least with their A series, is that these phones don't really last a crazy amount of time. Like, they last a good amount of time, but they don't last super long amounts of time compared to some other competition. And I do feel like in some ways, Samsung kind of needs to improve their particular device for their cheaper ones. Like their S series they just improved, but their A series I hope they kind of improve here too. The Pixel 8a is going to be lasting for a very long amount of time. 7 years from the Pixel 8's release date, I think. So this thing still has like 6 years of software updates ahead of it, which is pretty crazy. So that in and of itself is a very, very cool thing going on for the Pixel 8a. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there as well. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both. The Galaxy A55 has an Exynos 1480 chipset inside with 6 or 8 or 12 gigabytes of RAM. This one has 6. But the Google Pixel 8a has that Google Tensor G3 chipset inside with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one's a faster phone between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background, as you can see. So let's get into it. Phone calls 321. Okay, A55 I think was faster. Messages 321. About the same thing. Camera 321. And not really too sure which one's a faster one. Let's go and do their Play Stores 321. And they both were very fast. Let's go and kind of scroll through here. Let's see what the big differences are. And they both have 120Hz displays, which makes things look a lot nicer. And scrolling through, I'm not really too sure if there's one that's like significantly better than the other one. Getting into some third-party applications, let's go and see what else we got here. And you can see we have a few. So we can let's try Genshin Impact 321. This is a bigger game, so there's definitely a lot more like capability and a lot more process and movement going on in the background. So this is one of those things that I like checking out on both. And again, I'm not too sure if there's going to be one that's going to be significantly faster than the other one. And we're comparing Exynos versus Tensor, which are really the best ones. And you can see actually the Galaxy A55 and I'm getting into that one a little bit faster, which is very interesting. So let's go and hop out of both of these. Let's get into Roblox between both. 3, 2, 1. And I think the Pixel 8a was the faster one, at least to get into these panels. Let's go and click I agree. So it would have been about the same thing when it comes down to both. Hopping onto those two. Let's go and get into, let's try Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. And again, they're just loading, so it's going to take a little bit of time between both. Of course, we get into a pop-up here. Okay, I understand. So I don't know, that kind of threw things off because there were so many pop-ups. So of course that's going to cause some issues and cause some problems. So again, I'm not too sure again which one's going to be the faster one here, but one thing is for sure, it wouldn't have been this big of a difference. So that's just one big thing to keep in mind when you're getting into the actual game itself, that yeah, it's going to be a little bit slower here and there, but it wouldn't have been this big of a difference, I personally don't think. Getting into the actual game, I don't think there's going to be that big of a difference here either. It's going to be about the same thing, as you can see. So this game is not the most intensive game of all time, but the loading time just takes forever. Let's go and try a different one. We could try Subway Surfers 3, 2, 1. And we get into the age thing here. Okay. And again, differences all over the place again because of these annoying pop-ups. But once we get into the game, I don't know if there's going to be that big of a difference like there was on Temple Run 2. I also played Genshin Impact yesterday on these particular phones, or on the Galaxy 55. And honestly, it was not that bad of an experience. I was actually kind of surprised about it. So from this side, what I'll definitely tell you is from the games that I've tested, just because of the amount of pop-ups that are coming up, I don't think there's that big of a difference in my personal opinion. But there definitely are other differences throughout these phones. The performance, I mean, it's not really the biggest difference of all time, in my personal opinion. So that kind of covers it up there. Now, in terms of the cameras, you're getting a triple camera setup on the Galaxy A55, a dual camera setup on the Google Pixel 8a. So you're getting basically 4K at 30 on the back of the Galaxy 55 and 4K at 30 on the front of the Galaxy 55, where the Google Pixel 8a can go up to 4K at 60 on the back, which I think is really important. The other thing too is that you aren't getting a telephoto lens on the Galaxy 55, you're getting a macro lens. So that right there is like another slight difference. You may think you're getting a telephoto lens on the Galaxy 55, but you're actually not. With a phone like this, I definitely do think this is still a very good device in some ways. The camera is really not that terrible, and you are getting a lot of features inside of this device too. You're getting 10x zoom, which really isn't actually that bad. Portrait mode, you have fun mode, which is kind of crazy. You have, as you can see, video mode. Under more, you have a lot more options, and overall, it's like a very good device. I do think overall Samsung did a good job with this particular phone, and the camera really isn't that terrible. I think the Pixel 8a is another one of those examples where I feel like Google did a pretty good job with this type of phone too. Again, it's not like a perfect phone by any means, but I do think like if you're going to go through buy a particular device, this is not a bad option. So you can do 0.5x zoom here. You still have the capability of going up to 8x zoom, which is still very nice. Portrait mode, long exposure mode, night sight, panorama mode. Still a lot of good stuff and a lot of good capability behind the Pixel 8a phone as well. And I do think this is a very, very good phone, and I don't know which one is the better one here. Like I feel like between both, there's reasons why one might be better than the other one. But I do feel like if I were to go buy one and recommend one to people, I think the Google Pixel 8a might be the one I'd recommend the average person to go ahead and buy. It just seems like it's easier to go ahead and get your hands of in this particular country that I'm in, and it's just like an easier phone to go and buy. I feel like the Galaxy 55 is somehow giving more like flagship vibes. Like I feel like in some ways this phone kind of is more of a flagship, but it's not a perfect phone, and there are definitely issues with this device too. But if I were to pick up one, I would probably say the Pixel 8a would be my first choice, and the Galaxy 55 would be my second choice. So that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.